Welcome to the RT Development Podcast. I'm your host, Matt Rosignol. I'm really excited for today's guest, Ray Santiago. Today, Ray's going to talk to us about mental performance. Ray is the founder of D1 Mind Elite. He works with athletes at every level on developing mental skills that separate good players from great ones. We're lucky to have him part of the RT family, where he helps our athletes train their bodies but not train their bodies, but also their minds. I'm pumped for you to hear his perspective on why the mental game is just as important as the physical side. And I want to welcome you, Ray Santiago. Ray, thanks for being on the show today.
Hey, Matt, thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm really excited to dive into this. As we always preach to our athletes, we talk about the holistic approach, not just spending time in the weight room, not just working on the skill set, but all of the other aspects that come with it. And I definitely think the mental performance side is something that's a huge piece, and is a huge piece that's often missed for a lot of athletes. So I think it's going to be great to have you on, hear your perspective. I know you've done great work with our guys that train with you, and so this is going to be awesome, and I'm really looking forward to it. And I think just to get us started, how did you get here?
Sure. I didn't make it to the professional level. And so anyone in psychology kind of looks back and be like, okay, why didn't I make it? And okay, now I got to go figure out why. And so I had already gotten my degree in psychology. And when I got done with my career, I don't ever cry, but I cried in the outfield at CBU. Cal Baptist University is where I ended my career, super regional NAIA. And I just really had a coming to Jesus moment of what do I do now? Right. Of this was the goal. And just like everyone pretty much at the facility, right? The goal is to play professional baseball. And so when I couldn't do that anymore, my academic counselors, asked you, what do you see yourself doing for the next 50 years and enjoying it? And it was really just sports psychology. And I was cleaning out my dorm room or not my dorm room, my college house. And I found this book, Harvey Dorfman's Mental Keys to Hitting, and I keep it close to me quite often because it's just a humbling reminder of my dad gave that to me in my junior year of high school. And so, I probably dabbled in it because I have notes all over, here and there of notes from that book, but I never took it to heart. I just oh yeah, it's a good book. All that breathing thing sounds cool. But as I look back on my career, it's I didn't use that stuff. I was a major competitor. I was a great teammate, but I didn't have routines. I didn't breathe when I got in the box. I didn't know how to handle failure. And I'm 6'1", I was a shortstop. My dad played professional baseball. I know all the connections. And so I didn't have any excuses. If I was good enough, I would have made it. And I just wasn't good enough. And so now with that mental game piece, I said, wow, if I would have had this, well, I had it. If I actually bought into it. And I think that's what you and I are trying to do is get kids to at least try it and see if it's for them. So there's 4 stages of buy-in. So we have, that's not for me. And when I go give a talk, like when I gave a talk this summer at your facility, there's 4 types of players. There's, it's not for me, or I could see that it works for somebody else, but it's not for me. Step 3 is, well, you know what, maybe I'll try it. And step 4 is, how could I have done this any other way? So we wish that people would all be in step 4 of grasping the mental game and saying, how could I have approached the game of baseball or any sport any other way than to make sure that the mental game's a big piece of it. But I'm not always trying to do that. We're trying to, if they're in step 1, we're just trying to get them to step 2, to be acknowledge that, hey, I could see how it works for somebody else, but it's not for me yet. And that was me. My dad bought me a book. I kind of dabbled in it. It's yeah, but it's not really for me. And so when I talk to people, I'm never offended of why aren't they totally bought in? It's I was there too, because it's all about velo now. And it's about how strong can you be? Do you have 6-pack abs? The mental game is not sexy. Breathing, it's not that cool. Visualization, really not that cool. Oh, I'll make time for it some other time. So I know I'm going off on a tangent, but that's what got me into the mental game. And that's kind of where we're at now of I didn't really have a mental game. And had I had it, oh my gosh, things could have been way different. And I think everyone gets to the end of their career who I talk to, man, if I just had you. So we're trying to get to the kids, before it's a huge need.
Sure.
before it's too late.
Yeah, I mean, I would say not even talking about my mental game, but just I kind of had the same route to getting to where I'm at here, with especially on the strength side, not as much on the skill side, but uh, I went to like it wasn't for not going to the gym. I went to the gym, when I was in high school. Shoot, I went. My dad and I would go to the gym at 4:30, 5 a.m. every morning, but here I was, 100-pound kid, 110-pound kid in high school, and I would spend the hour or so that we were there on the treadmill, the bike, maybe a couple, bicep curls, and then get out of there. And here, 100 pounds, I had no business doing cardio that wasn't what I needed. And not that cardio is bad, but I mean, I needed to be getting stronger. And so just like, yeah, I was put in front of it, but didn't have, take the right steps to it. And so there's more to it, but that's definitely a big piece of how I got to where I'm at here. And so realizing, oh shoot, I wish I would have known this when I was, 14, 15, 16. I didn't learn this until after my first year of pro ball, when I got connected with a really good strength and conditioning coach. And I was like, saw the difference. Two, like, man, like the changes I just made in a year, if I would have been doing that for the last 7 and 8 years, like what could have been, where could I have been, and so on. So,
And that's what I love about your facility is I walk in there, everybody's walking around with papers. Like, had your dad handed you papers and be like, son, okay, if you do these things, you will be where you need to be.
yeah,
Like the responsibility that you put in the kids' hands of like, okay, I've been taught how to do this. Now I need to go do this, this, and this, and I've got 3 hours or 2 hours to do it. Like, you're doing that to a 14-year-old, you're forcing him to grow up. And then he looks around the room and he sees a guy going to Stanford, a guy going to LMU, a guy getting drafted. It's like they're doing the same thing. Obviously, it's individualized, but it's like this is the way to get there. If I'm good enough, this is the way. And that's what I love about what you've done with the facility is you're saying, here's exactly what you need to do. It's a science. It's not even an art. There's a science. Do this, and it gives you the best chance of getting everywhere you want to go.
sure. No, I mean, I think our big thing is obviously at the right time, we want to give them some autonomy. I want them to be in control of their process. We have, 4 to 5 coaches on the floor coaching them through it, making sure they're doing things right. But we want them to have that, not just like, throw this on the whiteboard and everyone follow the same thing and just go at the same pace and whatnot. And usually it works for one guy, stayed the same, and then one guy gets worse. So like, you got to have, yeah, the individualization and the autonomy, I think, is huge for helping these guys get to the next level and take those next steps, whatever that next level is. But when you start working with athletes, what are kind of the first steps when working with them, and what are some of the things you try to accomplish right away?
Sure. Well, before I get into that, maybe it'd be good to just kind of share what are some of the hangups or the hook, this, what am I trying to say? The stumbling blocks that get somebody to start working with me, because mental performance doesn't always have the best name. Like if a kid says, "Mom, I want to start training my body," they're like, "Sure, that's a smart move." But they say like, "Hey, Mom, I talked to this guy, for 30 minutes, and he gave me some really great tools on the mindset to, you know, unlock my performance." And she'd be like, "Well, there's nothing wrong with you. So, and it's probably just an extra expense we don't really have." And that's one of the biggest hangups I have is just getting through to the parents, because the parents more so think that, oh, sports psychology, mental performance. Well, there's nothing wrong with you. Well, it's not about nothing being wrong with you. It's like kid steps into your place and he's 110 pounds and he needs to put on weight. Like, there's something wrong with you. You have this ability, but you're not doing it. So it's the same thing with the mind of, yeah, there's nothing wrong with you. You're already at this level. I'm trying to help you get here.
Sure.
It's not about there's something wrong with you, but psychology has that negative connotation. But COVID helped change that. Everyone knows how to use Zoom now, and everybody's aware of how important mental health is. So in a weird way, COVID has really helped move the sports psychology field along. Um, every pro team has at least 4 or 5 mental performance coaches at the major league and minor league level. The biggest D1s have at least 2 or 3 on staff. And then if you watch interviews, a lot of players are giving props to, well, I'm working with this person, or like it's all about the mental game. It's taking deep breaths. So you can hear it and it's getting better. It's gaining momentum. It's just really getting kids to buy in and be like, oh, wow, this is helpful. There isn't something wrong with me. Oh, this is giving me an edge, right? So I've had to kind of term it in such a way of it does give you an edge, which it does, and that's where kind of the buy-in comes in. But you asked, when I'm starting to work with somebody, what's the first couple of steps? The first question I ask is, tell me about you outside of your sport. And I say, this is the hardest question I'm going to ask you, because kids, when they're so identified with their sport, they don't know what to talk about. And so that gives me a good gauge right there of where they're at mentality wise, of like how much are they into their sport, how much of their identity, their ups and downs come from just their sport. So I want to get a good feel for where are they at identity wise. So that's the first question. And then I just start to build rapport and just listen. And I just try to get to know them. And then by the end of our first call, they always walk away with 2 things: why they perform poorly when they do, and why they perform well when they do. And I just take them through my Pillar B's framework that focus on 4 B's of believing, breathing, body, battling, and how the thought leads to how they feel emotionally, how the emotion then leads to how they feel physically, and how those 3 things lead to how they perform. So like a pitcher says like, I have to strike this guy out, or I have to throw a strike. Well, that thought leads to a feeling of pressure. And that pressure then causes their body to feel tense. And they could go to Rossi training all they want and work on their mechanics, but when their mind is in a negative place, they're emotionally kind of out of control, putting pressure on themselves, and then physically they're feeling tense, all of a sudden they see the moment as a threat rather than a challenge, and then they throw more balls, or they hit a guy, or they're just a lot more ineffective than if they had the right mindset. So again, when I meet somebody, I want to get to know them outside of their sport, and then I want to make sure that they walk away with why they pitch well when they do and why they pitch poorly when they do, so that they start to perform by choice rather than by chance.
That makes sense. Yeah, I think that's a huge, might not seem like a big thing, but it's a huge mindset shift when being able to take that next step. We've seen a lot of guys who, I mean, it could be even in the gym, who are, for a lack of a better term, facility guys, meaning like they have all the potential in the world. All their numbers are outside, or top 100 percentile, right? But then they get on the field, they're not able to really show that talent or those skills that they have. What are some things to help guys, relieve some of that pressure, feel like they have to live up to something, and just go out there and play? Like, yeah, what are some things you do to help those guys?
So I'll give an example of me yesterday. I was playing golf with a guy who regularly shoots in the 70s and a guy who shoots in the low 80s, and I typically shoot about 100. Like almost every time I have like a 97 to 100. And so you're playing with these guys and you feel that pressure of like, I got to keep up with them. I have to play well. And all I said on the first tee box is I look at the guy who shoots low or mid 70s and I say, hey, today's going to be good and bad. And he goes, what do you mean? I said, well, have you ever played a round that hasn't gone good and bad? And he's like, that's true. So when we talk about putting pressure on ourselves, it's this desired future that we want to have. Man, I got to be perfect today. This has to go really well. Does it? I know in the next 60 seconds, I need to take a deep breath, or a breath at all, or else I'll probably pass out and die. I need that breath. But do you need to pitch well? Does this have to go perfect? So when we start to just look at, okay, I'm going to just relieve the pressure by saying, hey, today's going to go good and bad. Isn't every day good and bad? Like we want to know the future. Well, I can tell you the future. Today's going to go good and bad. And so just by giving ourselves an out, it relieves us of the pressure of having to be perfect. And that's really what it comes down to, is the fear of failure and the feeling that we need to be perfect. Well, we can get into, well, who taught you those things? It doesn't really matter. It's just, I'm going to give myself an out so that when something goes well today, guess what? Well, I told myself something was going to go good. And when something doesn't go well today, guess what? The first inning, I give up 2 runs. Guess what? Well, today I knew it was going to be bad, but good things will happen too. So it just takes away that shock, that awe factor of failure right away, or something doesn't go right away perfect. I don't throw strike one, first pitch. It's like, okay, well, got another pitch coming. So it's going to go good and bad. And then you get to choose, do I want to feel pressure or pleasure? Like a lot of the guys I work with at the facility, they work their butts off. And we know that. It's like, you train for this moment. You train to put yourself in this situation. Do you want to experience the pleasure of seeing all your hard work pay off, or the pressure of making sure that, that everything goes well, or making sure that, all the money that mom and dad are spending on all the things that I'm doing, I have to play well to show them that it's worth it. It's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Just go play the game. You get to choose whether you want pressure or pleasure. So that gives them the chance to relieve the pressure that they put on themselves if they want to.
Sure. As I would say 95, I don't know, somewhere in that 90 to 100%. Not quite 100%. 90 to 95% of kids who come in here, they want to play at the next level, and the kids that don't, like, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, I have a lot of respect for those kids who just want to be the best of wherever they are right now. And so with that, and this is something I was horrible at, and it definitely got me in trouble, is the always looking over your shoulder. They have these goals. They want to play at the next level, right? And so they're so worried about who's watching or who's going to come see them or how are they going to get seen, whatnot. How do we get rid of them? One, have that feeling of always feeling like they have to look over their shoulder and who's watching, or how are they going to take that next step?
Yeah, I like to think of it as like attraction versus distraction, right? If I'm so attracted to what I'm doing in the moment, I'm not distracted by anything else. So, like when I'm working with pitchers, a lot of guys from your place, one of the things we'll do is we'll take a deep breath before we pitch and say, this could be the best pitch I throw all day. This could be the best. And when I focus on that, this could be the best. When you go into your windup and you deliver, how distracted was I by anything going on behind me or anybody watching? I was in my own world. I was walking myself through a moment. And like we talk about self-talk and everything and positive, I don't care about positive self-talk or negative. I want you to walk yourself through a moment. And you can say, like, hey, like let's say Caleb Wing, he had a lot of guys come watch him, whether it was Toronto, whether it was San Diego, right? And we would chat before we do our visualization. And then when he'd get there, yeah, there were people there. And I said, well, you earned it. Everyone else walking around working out wishes they were you right now. You've earned the position that you're in. Oh, yeah. Okay. Just go out there and throw the bullpen you throw every Tuesday and Friday and try to make the best pitch you can. Like, love the pitch you're about to throw. Visualize how you want it to move. And all of a sudden, you're so enveloped in what you want to do and master this pitch that everyone else is just a bystander. And we can think of them as, well, they're rooting you on, especially if they're scouts, especially if they're called. They want you to do well. They want you to make their job easy of playing. Please sign here. It's like, so it's just you're kind of painting it in this positive way, as they're not here to judge you. They're not here to, be critical. It's like they're flying out here to see you throw. And like, especially the guys around them, we see like a lot of comparisons, right? Of, I won't say any names, but velo is a big thing. So they want to see that number. Well, like you're talking about, like looking over the shoulder, number one, everybody's on their own journey. We're actually all rowing in the same direction. We want to do well. And especially the culture you have built at Rossi is just ridiculous. Like, it's just a brotherhood. Even like the first day someone goes and I'll get on the phone, like, how was it? It's like, oh my gosh, like, I love this place. But there's still the inner competition, right? And so it's like, wait a second, once I understand I'm on my own journey, that my velo may jump right now, it may jump in 6 months, it may whatever. But it's like, when someone else does well, be genuinely happy for them.
100%.
That's one of the hardest parts. And maybe you can speak to that too, of like, If we can get guys to just be genuinely happy for the guy next to him because they want the same thing. Okay, you got it first. You got your scholarship offer first. If I have an abundance mindset, I'm like, there's plenty to go around. I train with him. Wow. If he's working hard and I'm working hard and he got his, it's like I'm on that same track. I'm next. And I'm one day closer. I'm one day closer. Rather than running out of days, oh, I'm scared. It's no, I'm one day closer, which creates excitement. But maybe you can speak to it because you're in the facility every day.
Yeah, I mean, one of the strongest things or the biggest things we try to do is create that culture. And I think we are a family. Like we talk about the RT Strong family all the time, and the ability to support the guy next to you. Like competition's a good thing. I think that's the one thing is like, yes, we want that competition. You want to compete against that guy, but there doesn't have to be like a negative tone towards him at the same time. Like, okay, let's say he throws a little bit harder than you today. He hit some new PR today and you didn't. That's gonna happen, but you can use that as some motivation. You can still be happy for him and understand that that doesn't mean you're not gonna get yours. And I think that's the one thing. And I don't know where it comes from. Something I know the culture is something we definitely pride ourselves on, but like, and this might not be the greatest example, and I think social media can be, kind of fake in a way, but like you see let's say a guy from here commit somewhere or do something good, the amount of love they get from all the RT athletes is, I could be wrong, but I don't see it from other places. And I think that's pretty special and pretty cool, like how much they all support and help kind of present's not the right word, but present other guys when they do well and show it out there. And I think that's something that's really cool. And I think it started from the guys before them. They see that other guys are supporting other guys instead of making it too individual, and it just kind of keeps feeding off of that. So,
Yeah. And I want to add one thing. You work the guys who come into your facility come from like some of the best schools in the Bay Area, like the WCAL schools. And one of the coolest compliments I got is a guy one time, not going to say what school, but he went to one of the WCAL schools, and he's like, man, I used to hate all these guys because they play each other. They're big rivalries. And it's like, I started coming here. It's like, I don't want to say it, but they're some of my best friends now. It's like, you think like all these rivalries around, but when you get into a training environment where you're pushing each other, you're being vulnerable. When you think about someone lifting a weight, they're purposely putting their body under duress, and you got a guy spotting you, and between sets you're talking. It's like you become best friends with some of those people who you're in the trenches with when you're at the facility. And so that's another testament to like outside of all the school rivalry, when they come together, it's one family. Like
absolutely.
you come from here, you come from here, and on the field, oh, it's a good rivalry. But when we're here, like, man, I'll go to bat for you any day. And that's again how you built that. I don't know, but it's a testament to you. And like you said, the people that have come before and be like, when you come here, you drop all of the, you know, the all the awards and all the accolades, and you just get to work. And we'll make our judgments of how
Yeah,
you work.
absolutely. No, I mean, just the last thing on that. I mean, I think for me personally, it's pretty cool to see uh, all these kids from so many different schools, from so many, not like even like different counties, and they all find a way to kind of get together outside the facility and whether go play golf, do other stuff, but they all do hang out together outside the facility, and they're from all over different counties, like not close by, but they all find a way to then hang out outside, and it's been a pretty cool thing to see. And so um, yeah, it's something, the culture is definitely a huge part that we're really really big on, and we try to make a big piece of what we do. And so
Love it.
the next thing I wanted to kind of get into is um, what's a simple strategy. I think all athletes to some extent have some nerves going into a game, right? What is a simple strategy that an athlete can use to help calm their nerves before a game?
Yeah, last week I talked to a kid and he said, Ray, I'm having anxiety before a game. And I said, okay, well, let's walk through some of that. And so, just from a tool perspective, one of the first things with anxiety is a fear of the future, right? You're like, even me yesterday driving up to the golf course, it's like, what if I hit a house? What if I play poorly? What if, when we say what if, it hasn't happened yet. So I'm already going to the future. So it's taking deep breaths to just slow the mind down. Again, I won't bring it up, but my Pillar B framework, it looks kind of like a baseball diamond, and believing leads to breathing. So breathing is the bridge to the emotions. And so if my emotions are so out of control that I can't get my thoughts right, I need to slow my breathing down to where I can slow my mind down enough to get my mind under control. So if you're experiencing anxiety, nervousness, anything before a game, well, first we start with some breathing exercises just to slow yourself down, where we breathe deeply in through the nose and the belly rises so that we're filling up our diaphragm, filling up our lungs. And those smooth exhales really start to just calm you down. And then we start to visualize, how do I want to play today? Because our minds naturally go to the worst. What if I don't perform the way I want to? What if this person's here? Like, what if I make an error? What if I strike out? Like, our minds just go to the negative, and that's what gets it spinning. So it's like, whoa, pause, take a deep breath. Let's start to focus on, how do I want to play? How do I want to feel that ground ball? In an 0-2 count, how loose do I want my body to feel so I can just react to any pitch, right? It's just, we want to set the tone, because if we don't give our body direction, it's just going to do whatever it's going to do. And so we just like, hey, give it direction, give it the blueprint of how you want to play today. And then that just builds confidence. I've never gotten out of a visualization exercise with somebody and they felt more nervous. It's like, no, I feel calm. I feel confident. Those two things, and they're completely free: the deep breath, right? And visualization. And then kind of going back to what we talked about before is, hey, guess what? Today's not going to be perfect. You've never played perfect before. What makes today so special that today's going to be the day? So we know that today's going to be both good and bad. Some good things are going to happen, some not so good things are going to happen. And that's the beauty of the game. So those three things combined. So we have the deep breath, which is actually, a physical action. Okay. And then visualization, right? It's doing something, directing our minds to somewhere. And then just the overall perspective, how we see the day, how we see it going, is it's going to go good and bad today. Start with those three things. If you master those three things, wow, some of your best performances are going to come out.
Just touch on like the visualization and even the breathing a little bit. Like, what are some of obviously our guys that work with you? They have. I know you go over like a visualization, either call or also like just some strategies to work to visualization. Some guys that don't at the moment work with you, or just in general for guys out there, what are some steps to start visualization? How can they go about that? Some ways to kind of work it into their routine.
Yeah. Whoops, my alarm's going off to pick up my son. We're good. So why don't I just take you through like a quick 2-minute visualization? Would that be all right?
That'd be awesome.
Cool. All right. Well, you were a pitcher, correct?
Correct.
All right. Well, let's do it. So I'm going to take one hand on my chest, one hand on my stomach. You don't have to, but if you're a beginner, we want to do that so that as we breathe in, I want to feel that hand on my stomach rise and then fall. So here we go. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Nice smooth exhale. In through the nose, inhale, belly rises. Out through the mouth, belly falls. 2 more just like that. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Last one. In through the nose, belly rises, out through the mouth. Now see yourself on the mound, standing behind the mound, looking out to the outfield. We've got runners on second and third with 2 outs. Take a nice deep breath in, out through the mouth. Now, Matt, this is going to be interactive, so I'm going to ask you pitch and location. I want you to give me pitch and location. You decide what happens, okay?
Okay.
So we toe the rubber. Get your sign. What do we got? Pitch and location.
Fastball in.
Step off. Got a righty or lefty at the plate?
Righty.
Okay, re-engage. Get your sign and location. What do
Fastball
we
in.
got? Fastball and come set. Nice deep breath in. Exhale. See what you want the ball to do.
Okay.
Tell the ball what to do
Okay.
and deliver. What do we got?
Strike one.
Good. Swinging or
Not
looking?
take.
Good. Get the ball back. Scale of 1 to 5. How well did the ball obey?
3.
Okay. What's one thing you could have done better to get the ball to do what you wanted to do?
Just got a little early.
Okay. Make that quick adjustment in your mind. Step on the rubber. Nice deep breath in. Exhale. Pitch and location.
Fastball away.
Good. Come set. See it in your mind. Tell the ball what to do and deliver. What do we got?
Strike 2.
Beautiful. Swinging or looking?
Looking.
Good. Get the ball back. Scale of 1 to 5. How well did the ball do what you wanted to do?
5.
Beautiful. Nice deep breath in as we engage the rubber. Smooth exhale. Pitch and location.
Slider away.
Beautiful. Come set. See where you want to start. See how you want it to finish. Tell the ball what to do and deliver. What do we got?
Ball.
Okay. Get the ball back. Scale 1 to 5. How well did the ball do what you wanted it to do?
4.
Good. Stay right there. Maybe you just had a good take. Engage the rubber. Nice deep breath in. Smooth exhale. Sign and location.
Fastball up and in.
Good. Come set. See it. Tell it. Do it. What do we got?
Strike 3. Swing and miss.
Beautiful. As you walk off the mound and head back towards the dugout, I just want you to feel your cleats driving into the turf or grass. Just being in this moment. As you get to the dugout, giving high fives. Start to wiggle the toes, wiggle the fingers, start to open the eyes. You probably want to go pitch right now, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So one of the things that I'll ask is I'll say, hey, how cognizant were you of the runners on second and third? So as I was walking you through that routine, pitch by pitch, how much were you thinking about the runners?
Very little. Probably.
Very little.
Yeah.
Probably a lot less than you would be if you're on the mound,
Yeah.
right? And then as you were throwing pitch by pitch, were you worried about throwing a pass ball?
No.
No, you were just in the routine. So when I take an athlete through something like that, they see themselves having success. And the fact that you threw a ball, you kept it real, right? It wasn't perfect. It was like, well, that happened, and you just get it back. You evaluate. You see how there was no judgment there? It's just like, you piece of crap, how could you? No, it's like, no, it's just a 3 or it's a 4. Okay, stay right there. And then you just take the deep breath, and then you see it. How do you want this ball to move? Because anytime we do something for the second time, it's always much better. So if I come set and I tell myself, this is what I want it to do. What am I also not doing in that moment is I'm saying, don't miss your spot, or don't throw it in the dirt. I'm not saying those things because I'm telling the ball what I want it to do. I'm seeing it, and then I'm telling it what to do with authority. So that raises your conviction of, I've seen it, I've told it what to do, and now I'm going to do it. And that's where that trust factor builds. And you struck him out, right? And you walked off. And so just from your perspective, what did you Like, was it real, and what did you take away from it personally?
Yeah, just stayed more just focused on the one thing rather than like all these outside thoughts or distractions. Was able just to kind of stay focused on the what I wanted to do, and only I stay kind of what I, for maybe it's a lack of a better term, but something I talk to guys about is all the time. It's like having that tunnel vision of, okay, I know that tunnel vision of, all right, I visualized where I wanted to throw that ball, the location went on. That was the only thing that I could see and like
Mm,
focus on was that one thing.
beautiful. It comes back to maybe this is the best pitch I throw all day. It just gives them that conviction. So
one Hundred
hopefully that
percent.
was helpful.
Yeah, no, I think that's good, and I think it's something that at least something they could take away. I think uh, I know for me when I know college and then like last year of college and then beyond, I did a little visualization. It was all my own, or something that you read about with like the ABCs of pitching and all that stuff. And so I tried it, and uh, it definitely was helpful and useful, and something I think I just wish for myself would have been a little more consistent with. So I definitely, with that being the case, with a lot of things, is like a lot of things I tell these our guys, it's not like do as I say because it worked for me. It's do as I say or not, and I don't mean that as like my way or the highway, but do as I say because this is I didn't do very good at this, and so I don't want you to go through those same struggles or uh, go down that path that I did, whether it be the training thing, and or definitely the mental game, like something that I definitely struggled with, and a lot of it was looking over my shoulder, um, just always worrying about who was watching, especially in independent ball, like how when I was gonna get out of there or what scouts were
Mm,
coming to my game in college, like so. And then when I talk to guys about it, it's like trying to teach them the mistakes that I made so they don't make those mistakes versus like do as I say. This is the only way. It's like I don't want you to go through what I went through.
right. And kind of just to finish that thought on who's watching, you ask yourself, how much of it has ever benefited you to know who's watching?
Yeah,
It's never really been a benefit because you're just like already anxious, and then you find out, oh, Oregon State's here. Well, my anxiety just rose. So
sure,
it's like there's no value in knowing who's there, and you don't know if today's going to be that day that someone makes a decision on you or not. So it's like focus on playing the game, take care of the baseball, and see what happens.
absolutely. Got like two more questions and a quick rapid fire, and we'll get you out of here. I really appreciate you taking the time again. But um, what separates the athletes who are able to thrive in the big moments and the ones who don't?
The ones who understand that a phrase like "big moment"
Doesn't.
is self-made.
Sure,
You take out the word "big," and what are we left with?
it's a
We're
moment.
left with a moment.
Yeah,
It's one moment, right? And like we've talked about before, like today's going to go good and bad. And those who trust their training. Um, but when we simplify, so if I said, what's 10 over 20, if you simplified that, a little math for you.
half,
10 over 20, one half. What about uh, 50 over 100,
half,
right? And then 1 million over 2 million,
half.
half. And so it doesn't matter if it's a World Series game or training at Rossi. It's the same thing. It's, well, if you're doing like your Friday um, lives, it's me, a baseball, and an opponent. That's all it ever comes down to. And I've actually whittled it down even more to it's just me and the baseball. Whoever's throwing it to me is not important. It's me and the baseball. How well can I see it if I'm a hitter? Or if I'm pitching, how well can I get this ball to do what I want it to do, like we did in the visualization? The opponent is there. And if you love having that feeling of an opponent, great. But if you're rather just like, I'm going to be in my own world and just like see what I can do with the baseball, it's it's even more encouraging because it's just me and a baseball. It's going to be there at the little league level, the major league level. You're always going to have a baseball. So it's like how good can I get this relationship with the ball today? How
Sure.
well can I see it? Can I see it like it's $1 million? Right? Can I get this curveball to do what I want it to do and just that beautiful spin? And then it becomes a game of mastery. How well can I show off my mastery today rather than the threat of a big game or a little stupid plastic ring that you get to have and then throw away? Or it's like, well, let's focus on what's more important because I'm not trying to be the best in the world at high school. I'm not trying to be the best in the world at D1. I want to go be the best in the world at the major league level or whatever sport you're in. So go for mastery rather than like trying to be perfect. You actually give yourself the best chance of getting there.
Absolutely. I think that kind of. I had a question about like how how to deal with a strikeout or a walk, but I think that kind of all ties into everything you just kind of said. Is just being able to stay in the moment. It's gonna happen. You're gonna do well. Sometimes you're not gonna just being able to take, be able to move on and stay just focused on what you can control in that moment. So
Yeah, I have one thought on that, and this is something Caleb Wing would be really okay with me sharing. It's something that we talked about back in February before his first start. This was obviously a big year for him, and we talked about a monopoly board. Of the goal of monopoly is not to like have a good round around the board; it's to bankrupt everybody, the last person standing. And so like putting if you're ever putting too much emphasis on one event, on one at bat, on one thing, think about it's just one time around the monopoly board, and sometimes they're going to be really good rounds, sometimes they're going to be not so good rounds, and sometimes they're just going to be okay rounds. Again, the goal is not to like have the best time around the board, it's how many times around the board can I last. And it's just this perspective of like, okay, that was just one time around the board, so it allows you to sleep at night because it's like, this was, oh man, I really blew it today. Like, oh, it's like, nope, that was one time around the board.
sure.
And you have another time coming around the board soon. There will be a day when you don't have any more times. It comes for everybody. But today, you got another time around the board. And it lets you to reset. Just be like, okay, sometimes they're going to be good, sometimes they're not. But it's just one time around the board.
Sure. And I think adding one thing to that for our athletes and to remember is when you are getting evaluated like that, these coaches and evaluators, scouts, all of them, they want to see how you handle the failure and the struggle as much as anything. How do you respond to it? How do you, let's say, in the case of Caleb, and I'm not saying he struggled or did anything, but if let's say he would have had a really bad outing, like they had enough. They wanted to see him the next week how he would have responded to that, or when he gave up a home run, like how did he respond the next pitch? And it happened this past year. He gave up a home run, and the next hitter he struck out on 3 pitches, and
Mm.
that was the only home run he gave. It was in a big moment in the seventh inning of a game, and the only reason I'm saying this is because I would say at least 5 scouts come up to me right after that strikeout and say, that's what I wanted to see.
Yeah.
I wanted to see how he would handle that. He didn't fold when he didn't walk the guy. He came right back, 3 pitches, struck him out. That was 3 outs and it went. And so I think if there's anything you could take away from that is like, it's not so much you're not gonna always, you're gonna fail. It's how you respond to it, how you respond to it. And when you come up the next moment and do it, you just go to that next pitch or that next at bat, you're gonna have more success, and it's also gonna show those people that you're trying to show how you handle those situations. All right,
Bingo.
last question, get you out of here. How can parents? I think this is a big thing with today. How can parents best support their athletes without adding extra pressure?
Not having their own agenda.
I like it.
Saw this one card. You to get out a note card and you be really honest. You say, "Here's what I want you to do this sport for," and then you give it to your kid, and they flip it over and they put, "Here's what I want to do this for," and then you talk about it because it's like, well, here's my motivations and here's your motivations, and they either line up really well or they don't, and so that's something worth talking about. So that's just one simple activity. And parents expect that your kid is not going to play professional baseball, but or professional whatever. Could they get a Division I scholarship? Sure, if they're good enough, right? If they work hard enough, and if the right people see them on the right day. But be on the journey with them and look to grow in your relationship. It's not about the sport. The second the sport's done, you know, that drive home, ask them about their day. Talk about anything besides sport. And you open the door and say, if you want to talk about the game, I'm open to it. But I was here to support you today. Really enjoyed watching you play. Well, Mom, I play that crap. Well, you're my son. I love seeing you play. So
It's good.
yeah.
All right. One word answers. One book, podcast, or resource you would recommend for athletes on the mental game.
Start with the mental keys to hitting.
I like it. All right. If you could give yourself one piece of advice about mindset, what would it be?
Acceptance.
What's one mental skill every athlete should start practicing today?
Breathing. It's the most powerful thing under the nose.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Ray. We really appreciate you coming on today. Where can players, parents, coaches, where can they find you?
Sure. And in the show notes, you could probably put down D1 Mind Ray is my Instagram. That's where I'm most active. And then you can put my email address as well. And my D1 Mind Elite platform, that's probably the best way to, get into the mental game. You get a free week just to try it out. And that's the biggest thing is we're just trying to get kids to try out the mental game. So everyone seems to love it. So if you want to check that out, we can put that link in the show notes below as well.
Awesome. We'll make sure to do that. Well, Ray, I really appreciate it. It's been awesome. I definitely took home some things, and I know everyone out there should have also been able to take home a few things. For us, you can reach us at rossistraining.com. That's our website. Instagram is Rossi's Training. Really appreciate you listening, and see you next episode.